Marcus Chen woke up to the sound of something breaking in his apartment. His eyes opened wide in the darkness. The clock on his nightstand showed 2:47 a.m. in bright red numbers. He lay still, listening. His heart beat fast in his chest. There it was again. A soft thump, like something heavy falling to the floor. It came from his living room. Marcus lived alone in apartment 3B of the Harmony Towers, a building where humans and aliens lived together. It was 2187, 3 years after Earth made first contact with alien life. The government said everyone should learn to live together. So they built these mixed buildings in every major city. His neighbor in apartment 3C was an alien, a Valkyrie named Zitharuk. Marcus had seen him a few times in the hallway. The Valkyrie were tall and thin, with blue-gray skin that seemed to shimmer under lights. They had large black eyes and moved with precise, careful steps. Zitharuk always nodded politely, but never spoke much. He was a scientist, studying Earth's plants and animals. Marcus slowly got out of bed. He grabbed his tablet from the nightstand. It was the only weapon he had. His hand shook a little as he walked toward his bedroom door. "Hello?" he called out. "Who's there?" No answer. Marcus opened his bedroom door and looked into the dark living room. The city lights from his window gave just enough light to see shapes. His coffee table was knocked over. A plant pot was broken on the floor. Dirt spread across the carpet. Then he saw it. A figure slumped against his wall near the front door. It was too tall to be human. "Please," a voice whispered. It sounded wrong, like someone speaking through water. "Please, help." Marcus's finger hovered over the emergency button on his tablet. He should call security. He should call the police. But something stopped him. He turned on the lights. It was Zitharuk. His neighbor was sitting against the wall, his long legs stretched out in front of him. But something was very wrong. The Valkyrie's usually neat clothing was torn. His skin, normally a smooth blue-gray, was darker in some places. Wet. Marcus realized with shock that it was blood. Alien blood that glowed faintly with a soft blue light. "Zitharuk?" Marcus moved closer, forgetting his fear. "What happened to you?" The alien's head lifted. His large black eyes looked at Marcus. There was something in those eyes that Marcus had never seen before. Fear. Real, deep fear. They cannot know I am here," Zitharuk said. His voice was weak. "Please." I did not know where else to go. "Your door." It was unlocked. Marcus cursed himself. He always forgot to lock his door. In the old days, before aliens, this would have been dangerous. Now, in these safe new buildings, people got careless. "Who can't know?" Marcus asked. "Who did this to you?" "My people," Zitharuk said. "Please, hide me." The alien's eyes closed and his body slumped to the side. Marcus rushed forward and caught him before his head hit the floor. The Valkyrie was heavy, but Marcus was strong enough to lower him gently. He had worked in construction before becoming an engineer. His muscles remembered how to carry weight. Marcus's mind raced. He should call for help. An alien was hurt in his apartment. This was serious. But Zitharuk had said to hide him. From his own people. Why would his own people hurt him? He looked at the alien's wounds. There was a deep cut on his side and another on his arm. The glowing blue blood was still flowing, but slowly. Marcus had taken basic first aid classes. He knew he had to stop the bleeding. He ran to his bathroom and grabbed his first aid kit. He had no idea if human medicine would work on aliens, but he had to try. He also grabbed clean towels. When he returned, Zitharuk's eyes were open again, watching him. "You are helping me," the alien said. It sounded like a question and a statement at the same time. "Yes," Marcus said simply. I don't know what's going on, but you're hurt. Let me stop the bleeding first. Then you can explain. He pressed a towel against the wound on Zitharak's side. The alien made a sound, something between a hiss and a groan. Marcus felt bad for hurting him more, but he needed to apply pressure. Why did you come to me? Marcus asked as he worked. We barely know each other. You are human, Zitharak said, as if that explained everything. I have been studying your species for 2 years. I have read your history, your stories. I know what you do, what we do. You help, Zitharak said. His voice was getting a bit stronger. Even when it is not wise. Even when it puts you in danger. You help those who need it. I have seen it in your history. I have seen it in the small things, every day. Last month, you helped the elderly human on the 2nd floor carry her groceries. You did not know her. She did not ask, but you helped. Marcus was surprised the alien had noticed that. He thought the Valkyrie did not pay attention to such small things. That's just being a decent person, Marcus said. No, Zitharak replied. That is being human. My people would calculate if helping was efficient. If it benefited them? Most species in the galaxy do the same. But humans help first and think later. The bleeding was slowing down. Marcus opened his first aid kit and found bandages. He had no idea if they would stick to alien skin, but he tried anyway. Tell me what happened, Marcus said. Why are you running from your own people? Zitharak looked at him for a long moment. In those black eyes, Marcus saw something he never expected to see from a Valkyrie. Tears. Small drops of clear liquid that caught the light. Because I changed, the alien whispered. I came to Earth to study your species. But something happened to me here. Something my people consider a disease. A corruption. What happened to you? Zitharak's hand reached up and touched his own chest, right where his heart would be. I started to feel, he said. Marcus stopped working on the bandages. He stared at the alien. Feel what? Everything, Zitharak said. Fear, hope, curiosity, wonder, pain, joy. All the things my people eliminated from our species 10,000 years ago. All the things we consider primitive and dangerous. They came back to me. And I am not the only one. Many Valkyrie on Earth are experiencing this. And our government. His voice broke. They are fixing us. They are taking these feelings away. Forever. Marcus understood now. The fear in those alien eyes. The desperation that drove Zitharak to break into a stranger's apartment in the middle of the night. You're running from them, Marcus said. Because you don't want to lose what you found. Yes, Zitharak said. I would rather die than go back to being empty. Marcus looked at his alien neighbor. 3 years ago, he never imagined aliens existed. Now, one was bleeding on his living room floor, begging for help. Asking him to hide him from his own people. This could get Marcus in serious trouble. The Valkyrie were powerful. Their technology was far beyond human understanding. But as he looked into those fearful, tear-filled eyes, Marcus knew his decision was already made. Just like Zitharak had said, humans helped first and thought about the consequences later. Okay, Marcus said. I'll hide you. But you need to tell me everything. If I'm going to help you, I need to know what we're up against. For the first time since entering the apartment, something like hope appeared on the alien's face. Thank you, Zitharak whispered. You are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Do you know why? Marcus shook his head. Because you make others want to be like you, the alien said. And then his eyes closed again as exhaustion took him. Marcus sat on his couch and watched the alien sleep on his floor. He had managed to bandage Zitharak's wounds and make him comfortable with pillows and blankets. The sun was starting to rise outside his window, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. He had not slept at all, though his mind was full of questions. What had he gotten himself into? Should he still call someone? But who? The police would just hand Zitharak over to the Volcari authorities. The news always said that alien law applied to aliens. Even on Earth, humans were not supposed to interfere. Around 7 in the morning, Zitharak's eyes opened. He sat up slowly, testing his wounds. The blue glow of his blood had stopped completely. The bandages held. "You stayed awake all night," the alien observed. "Watching over me." "Someone had to," Marcus said. He stood up and went to his kitchen. "Are you hungry?" "I have no idea what you eat." "Velkari do not need to eat as often as humans," Zitharak said. "But water would help." Marcus brought him a glass of water. He watched as the alien drank it carefully, as if testing whether it was safe. "Tell me everything," Marcus said. "Start from the beginning." Zitharak set down the glass and looked at his hands. Long, thin fingers with one too many joints. Marcus had always thought they looked fragile, but now he noticed they were shaking slightly. "My people evolved on a harsh world," Zitharak began. "We fought. We killed. We felt rage and hatred and jealousy. These emotions nearly destroyed us. Wars, violence, chaos. 10,000 years ago, our wisest leaders found a solution. They developed a way to remove strong emotions from our biology. Not completely, but enough. We became calm, logical, peaceful." "That sounds like a good thing," Marcus said. "It was," Zitharak agreed. "We stopped fighting. We built a great civilization. We reached the stars. We became one of the most advanced species in the galaxy. But we also became empty. We exist, but we do not truly live. We learn, but we do not wonder. We create, but we do not dream." He looked up at Marcus with those dark eyes. "Then we came to Earth, and we discovered you. Humans, a species that kept all their emotions. All that chaos we feared. Yet somehow, you also built great things. You reached space. You created art and music and stories that made other species feel things they had forgotten. You were supposed to be impossible." Marcus remembered the day first contact was announced. The whole world had watched as the alien ships arrived. Everyone expected advanced beings of pure logic. And the Velkari seemed to fit that expectation perfectly. Cold, calculating, efficient. 3 years ago, my government sent scientists to Earth, Zitharak continued, to study you, to understand how you could be emotional and advanced at the same time. I was one of those scientists. I lived among you. I watched you. And slowly, something changed in me. Your emotions came back, Marcus said. Yes, at first, I did not understand what was happening. I would look at a sunset and feel something, not just sun descending equals night approaching, but something more. Something beautiful. I read human books and felt excited about what would happen next. I saw humans help each other and felt warm inside. Zitharak's voice grew stronger as he spoke, as if the words themselves gave him energy. I reported these changes to my supervisors. I thought it was a medical issue, but they told me I was not alone. Dozens of Velkari on Earth were experiencing the same thing. They said it was the proximity to humans. Something about your species was awakening the old parts of our biology, the parts we had buried for 10,000 years. What did they do? Zitharak's expression darkened. They called it a contamination, a disease. They said we needed correction. I did not think much of it at first. I trusted my government. I went to the medical facility they set up. I saw my colleague Varthan go in for correction before me. He stopped talking. His hands clenched into fists. What happened to him? Marcus asked, though he feared the answer. He came out different. Empty again. He looked at me, and there was nothing in his eyes. No curiosity, no warmth, nothing. I asked him how he felt, and he said, "I feel nothing. It is better this way." But the way he said it, Zitharak shuddered. It was not better. It was like watching someone die while their body kept living. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "I ran," Zitharak said simply. I was next in line for correction. But when I saw what they did to Varthan, I felt something new. Fear. Real, deep, terrible fear. And I realized I did not want to lose these feelings. Even the fear. Even the pain. Because they made me real. They made me alive. "So you came to me," Marcus said. I did not plan to. I just ran. I made it back to the Harmony Towers. But I knew they would come for me soon. They have trackers. They will know where I am. I went to my apartment first, but it felt wrong. Trapped. Then I remembered you. The human who helped an old woman with groceries. The human who smiled at everyone in the elevator. The human who once helped me carry my research equipment when I dropped it. You did not have to. I did not ask. But he helped anyway. Marcus remembered that day. Zitharak had been carrying several boxes of scientific instruments. One had fallen and broken open. Marcus had just stopped and helped him pick everything up. It had seemed like nothing. I thought, Zitharak continued, if anyone would help me, it would be a human. And I was right. Marcus got up and walked to his window. The city was waking up. People were going to work. Aliens and humans walking together on the streets below. Everything looked normal. But nothing was normal anymore. What happens now? He asked. They're going to come looking for you. Yes, the correctors will come. Probably today. They're very efficient. Correctors. That's what you call them? That is what they call themselves. They believe they are helping us. Fixing us. They do not understand that they are killing us instead. Marcus turned back to face the alien. How many of you are there? Velkari who don't want to be corrected. I do not know exact numbers. But many. Enough that our government is worried. They are being very quiet about it. They do not want other species to know. The Velkari have a reputation as the most logical, most stable species. If the galaxy knew that we were becoming emotional again, it would change how others see us. An idea started forming in Marcus's mind. Other species? Are there others like you? From different planets? Zitharak tilted his head, thinking. I have heard rumors. The Krell, they are another logical species. Some of them on Earth reported similar changes. The Zandi too. But I do not know details. Marcus started pacing. He did this when he was thinking hard about a problem. Back when he worked in construction, he would pace while figuring out how to solve structural issues. Zitharak, listen. You can't just hide here forever. They'll find you. And I can't fight them. No human can. Their technology is too advanced. The alien's expression fell. I know. I'm sorry. I should not have involved you. I will leave. I didn't say that, Marcus said quickly. I said you can't hide. That means we need a different solution. What solution? There is no solution. The Velkari government has made its decision. Marcus stopped pacing and looked at his alien neighbor. Really looked at him. And he saw what others might miss. He saw someone who had just discovered what it meant to feel. What it meant to be truly alive. Someone who was willing to risk everything for that. You know what humans are really good at? Marcus asked. Zitharak shook his head. We're good at fighting for people's rights. Even when it seems impossible. Especially when it seems impossible. Throughout our history, we fought against slavery, against oppression, against anyone who tried to take away people's freedom to choose who they want to be. But I am not human. Zitharak said. Marcus smiled. No, but you're a person, and no one should be forced to give up their feelings against their will. That's not medical treatment. That's not correction. That's something else. Something wrong. For a long moment, Zitharak just stared at him. Then something amazing happened. The alien's face changed. The muscles, so used to being neutral, pulled into an expression Marcus recognized. A smile. It was awkward and uncertain, but it was definitely a smile. You will help me fight? The alien asked. We'll help you fight, Marcus corrected. I'm not doing this alone. If what you say is true, there are other humans hiding other aliens. We need to find them. We need to work together. How do you know there are others? Because, Marcus said, humans always help. That's what you said, right? And if you came to me, then others like you probably went to other humans. Zitharak stood up, testing his strength. The wound still hurt. Marcus could see it in his face, but he was standing. This is dangerous for you, the alien said. The Volcari will not be kind to humans who interfere. Marcus thought about that. He thought about the safe, simple life he had. Going to work, coming home, watching shows, sleeping. It was comfortable, easy. But was it right to choose comfort when someone needed help? Then I guess, Marcus said, we'll have to be smarter than them. Lucky for us, humans are pretty good at that too. The correctors arrived at noon. Marcus had been expecting them, but that did not make it less frightening. He was at his window when he saw the black vehicle pull up in front of Harmony Towers. It looked like a regular van, but it moved too smoothly, too quietly. Alien Technology. 3 Volcari stepped out. They wore dark uniforms that seemed to absorb light. Their movements were perfectly synchronized, efficient, cold. They are here, Marcus said. Zitharak was hidden in Marcus's bedroom closet, behind boxes of old engineering equipment and winter clothes. It was not a great hiding spot, but it was the best they had on short notice. Do not let them in. Zitharak's voice came from the closet, quiet and scared. They have scanners, but they need permission to enter a human residence. Earth law protects you. Marcus hoped that was true. He watched as the correctors entered the building. His heart was beating fast. He went to his door and made sure it was locked. Minutes passed. He heard footsteps in the hallway. Then a knock on his door. Marcus Chun? A voice called. It was flat, emotionless. A Volcari voice. We need to speak with you. Marcus took a deep breath. He opened the door but kept the chain lock on. Through the gap, he could see one of the correctors standing there. Yes? Marcus said, trying to sound normal. I am Corrector Velmok. We are searching for a Volcari citizen named Zitharak. He was last tracked to this building. Have you seen him? My neighbor? Marcus said. No, I haven't seen him since yesterday. In the hallway. We just nodded at each other. I see. The corrector's black eyes studied Marcus. Would you mind if we searched your apartment? Actually, yes, I would mind, Marcus said. His voice was steadier than he felt. Unless you have a warrant from human authorities. There was a pause. The corrector tilted his head slightly. A warrant is not necessary for finding one of our own citizens. Maybe not on your world, Marcus said. But this is Earth, and I know my rights. You need permission from human law enforcement to enter my home. The corrector stared at him for a long moment. Marcus fought the urge to look away. He had read once that showing fear to predators made them more aggressive. He did not know if that applied to aliens, but he kept his eyes steady. Very well, the corrector finally said. But we will be watching. If you see Zitharak, you are required by law to report it. Sure, Marcus said. If I see him, I'll let someone know. The corrector turned and walked away. Marcus closed the door and leaned against it. His legs felt weak. He was shaking. "They are gone?" Zitharak called from the closet. "For now," Marcus said. "But they'll be back. And they're watching the building." He helped Zitharak out of the closet. The alien looked even more frightened than before. "You lied to them," Zitharak said. "You lied to protect me." "Yeah," Marcus said. "Is that shocking?" "Very. My people do not lie. We consider it inefficient and illogical." "Well, sometimes the truth isn't the right answer," Marcus said. "Especially when it puts innocent people in danger." His tablet buzzed. A message from someone in the building. Marcus did not recognize the name. Sarah Martinez, apartment 5G. The message was simple. "I heard what happened at your door. We need to talk. All of us." Marcus showed it to Zitharak. "Do you know what this means?" "Others," the alien said, his eyes widening. "Other humans hiding other Volcari." "You were right." 20 minutes later, Marcus knocked on the door of apartment 5G. Sarah Martinez opened it quickly and pulled him inside. She was a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and worried expression. "Thank God," she said. "I thought I was the only one." The apartment was crowded. Marcus counted 6 other humans and, hiding in various corners, 5 Volcari. There were also 2 aliens he did not recognize. One looked like a large insect with too many legs. The other was covered in feathers and had 3 eyes. "Everyone," Sarah said. "This is Marcus Chung from 3B. Marcus, welcome to the Resistance." "Resistance is a strong word," a man said. He was young, maybe 25. "We're just people helping people. Or, well, helping aliens." "Same thing," an older woman said. "My name is Janet. This is my friend Kexthi." She pointed to the insect-like alien. "She's Krell. They did the same thing to her people. Removed their emotions centuries ago." Kexthi clicked her mandibles together in what might have been agreement. "And this is Pix," a teenage boy said, indicating the feathered alien. "Pix is Zanli." "Same story." Marcus looked around the room. All these humans. All these aliens. All hiding. How many buildings have groups like this? He asked. "We don't know," Sarah said. "We've been too scared to reach out. But if there are 8 of us just in this building, there must be hundreds across the city. Maybe thousands. We cannot hide forever," one of the Volcari said. Marcus recognized her. She lived on the 4th floor. Her name was something like Lithara. "The correctors are systematic. They will search every apartment eventually. They will find us." "Then we need a better plan than hiding," Marcus said. "Like what?" Sarah asked. "We can't fight them. They have technology we can barely understand." Marcus thought about this. She was right. In a direct fight, humans would lose. But humans did not always win by fighting directly. "We need to make this public," he said. "If the correctors are doing this in secret, then we expose it. We show the galaxy what's really happening." "And how do we do that?" the young man asked. "The Galactic Council," Zitharak said. He had been quiet until now, but he stepped forward. "There is a Galactic Council that oversees relations between species. They have laws, rules about how species must treat their own citizens." "Would they help?" Marcus asked. "I do not know," Zitharak admitted. "Most species on the council have also suppressed or controlled their emotions. They might agree with what the Volcari are doing. But there are laws about sapient rights, about free will. If we could appeal to them—" "It is impossible," Lithara said. "The Volcari government will never allow us to reach the council. They will stop us." "They'll try to stop us," Marcus corrected. "But they don't know humans very well, do they? We're really good at doing impossible things." Sarah smiled. "I like how you think. But even if we decide to do this, how do we get to the Galactic Council? We can't exactly book a flight. Marcus pulled out his tablet and started typing. My friend Jake works at the spaceport. Human ships go to the council station every week for trade negotiations. If we could get on one of those ships, smuggling ourselves onto a government vessel? Janet laughed. That's crazy. Crazy is what we do best, the teenage boy said. I'm in. Wait, Zithorak said. This is too dangerous. If humans do this, you will be breaking many laws. You could be punished, imprisoned. Your government will not protect you. Marcus looked at all the humans in the room. Then he looked at all the aliens they were hiding. Beings who had just discovered what it meant to feel, to be alive. And he thought about Varthan, the Velkari, who had been corrected. The empty look in his eyes. My ancestors, Marcus said slowly. They fought against slavery. They hid people who were running for freedom. They broke laws that were wrong. They risked everything because they believed in something bigger than themselves. Freedom. The right to choose your own path. He looked directly at Zithorak. You said humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. You know why? It's not because we're strong or smart. It's because when we see something wrong, we can't just walk away. Even when it's not our problem. Even when it's dangerous. We have to try to fix it. Sarah nodded. He's right. I didn't hide Lithara because it was safe or smart. I did it because it was right. Same, Janet said. Caxthi came to my door bleeding and scared. What was I supposed to do? Turn her away? The teenage boy raised his hand. Pix is my friend. We play games online together. When they came for him, he messaged me. Friends don't abandon friends. The young man who had spoken earlier stood up. My name is David. I'm a lawyer. Well, a law student. But I've been researching. The Galactic Council has a provision for asylum. If a sapient being is being persecuted for who they are, they can appeal for protection. Does it work? Marcus asked. I don't know, David admitted. No one has ever tried it. Most species handle their own problems internally. But the law exists, which means we might have a chance. Marcus looked around the room again. At the scared aliens. At the determined humans. At the beginning of something bigger than all of them. Okay, he said. Here's what we're going to do. We document everything. Every story. Every alien who's been corrected against their will. We gather evidence. Then we get to that council station and we make them listen. The correctors will try to stop us, Lithara warned. Then we'll have to be smarter than them, Marcus said. We'll have to move fast. Work together. Use every advantage we have. What advantage do we have? Sarah asked. Marcus smiled. We care. They don't. That's a bigger advantage than you think. When you care about something, you don't give up. You don't calculate odds. You just keep fighting until you win or you can't fight anymore. Zithorak stepped forward and placed his hand on Marcus's shoulder. It was the first time he had voluntarily touched a human. Marcus could see tears in his eyes again. Thank you, the alien said. All of you. You could have turned us away. You could have stayed safe. But you chose to help instead. I am beginning to understand what makes humans special. Yeah? Marcus said. What's that? Hope, Zithorak said simply. Even when everything seems impossible. Even when everything seems impossible, humans hope. And you make others hope too. Outside, the core of the next 3 days were the hardest of Marcus's life. The group worked in secret, gathering evidence and planning their appeal to the Galactic Council. David, the law student, researched galactic laws day and night. Sarah coordinated with other groups in different buildings across the city. Marcus used his engineering skills to help create hidden communication. Devices that the correctors could not track, but everything changed when the Velkari government made their move. It started with a news broadcast. Marcus was in his apartment with Zitharak when the alert appeared on his tablet. The Valkyrie ambassador to Earth was giving a statement. The ambassador's face appeared on the screen. Calm, composed, emotionless as all Valkyrie were supposed to be. Citizens of Earth, the ambassador said, we regret to inform you that several Valkyrie citizens on your planet have contracted a dangerous neurological condition. This condition makes them unstable and potentially dangerous. We are asking for your cooperation in locating these individuals so we can provide necessary medical treatment. Marcus felt his stomach drop. It is important to note, the ambassador continued, that any human who harbors these individuals is interfering with medical treatment and may be charged with obstruction. We ask all humans to report any Valkyrie exhibiting unusual emotional behavior immediately. The broadcast ended. Marcus looked at Zitharak. The alien's face showed an emotion Marcus now recognized easily. Anger. They are lying, Zitharak said. We are not dangerous. We are not sick. I know, Marcus said. But now they've made it illegal to help you. If we're caught, we go to jail. His tablet buzzed. Messages were flooding in from the group. Everyone was scared. Some wanted to give up. Turn the aliens over before they all got arrested. But then Sarah sent a message that changed everything. My daughter just sent me something. The Valkyrie aren't the only ones doing this. 3 other alien governments just made similar announcements. The Crow, the Zondi, and the Morkith. They're all calling their emotional citizens sick. This isn't just about the Valkyrie anymore. This is bigger. Marcus read the message to Zitharak. The alien stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the corrector's van was still parked on the street. Watching. Waiting. If they are coordinating, Zitharak said, it means they are scared. It means there are many more of us than we thought. Marcus's mind raced. 4 alien governments all acting at once. All trying to round up their emotional citizens. All calling it a medical emergency. It was too coordinated to be a coincidence. They're scared of what this means, Marcus said slowly. If their people start feeling emotions again, everything changes. Their entire civilizations are built on logic, on control. If that falls apart, revolution, Zitharak said. They fear revolution. Another message came through, this time from David. Meeting, tonight, big news. Come to the community center on 5th Street. Bring everyone. The community center was packed when Marcus and Zitharak arrived that evening. There were not just humans from their building. There were hundreds of humans. And with them, dozens of aliens. Valkyrie, Krell, Zandi, Morkith, and species Marcus did not even recognize. David stood at the front of the room with a woman Marcus had never seen before. She was tall, professional-looking, wearing a suit. Everyone, this is Ambassador Chun, David announced. She works for the Human Diplomatic Corps. Marcus felt hope surge in his chest. An actual ambassador. Someone with real power. Ambassador Chun stepped forward. I want to be clear about something first. What I'm doing here is not officially sanctioned by my government. I could lose my job for this. But I took an oath to protect human rights, and I believe that extends to all sapient beings. The room was silent. Everyone was listening. I've been following your situation, she continued. I've made a decision. I'm going to help you appeal to the Galactic Council. I have the authority to request an emergency hearing. I'm going to use it. The room erupted in noise. People talking, crying, hugging. Aliens making sounds of relief in their various languages. Ambassador Chun raised her hand for quiet. But I need to warn you, this will not be easy. The Galactic Council has never sided with emotional expression before. Most species there have chosen logic over feeling. They might not understand why this matters. Then we make them understand, Marcus said, standing up. We show them what emotions mean, what they give us. How? Someone asked. Marcus thought about this. How do you explain emotions to beings who have forgotten them? How do you make them understand? We show them human achievement, he said. We show them that emotions don't make us weak. They make us stronger, more creative, more alive. Zitharak stood up beside Marcus. He is right. I have studied human history for 2 years. Everything humanity has accomplished, you did it with emotions, not despite them. Your art, your science, your exploration of space, all of it was driven by curiosity, passion, wonder. Emotions that my people eliminated. The council meets in 1 week, Ambassador Chun said. We need to prepare. We need evidence, testimonies, data. Anything that proves emotional expression is not a disease, but a fundamental right. The next 7 days were a blur of activity. The humans worked tirelessly. They gathered stories from every alien who had rediscovered emotions. They compiled research showing that emotional species were just as technologically advanced as logical ones. They created presentations, videos, and documents. Marcus barely slept. He spent his nights helping Zitharak prepare his testimony. The alien would be the main speaker. His story would be the heart of their case. I am scared, Zitharak admitted one night. What if I fail? What if I cannot make them understand? Then you won't be alone, Marcus said. We'll all be there with you. And even if they don't listen the first time, we'll keep trying. That's what humans do. We don't give up. Finally, the day arrived. The Galactic Council station was enormous. It floated in space above Earth, a massive structure that housed representatives from dozens of alien species. Ambassador Chun had arranged for Marcus and a small group to accompany Zitharak to the hearing. As they entered the council chamber, Marcus felt very small. The room was huge, with seats rising up in a circle. Alien beings of all types sat watching them. Some looked curious. Most looked indifferent. At the center was the High Arbiter, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline form. Its voice echoed through the chamber, sounding like music and thunder at the same time. This council recognizes Ambassador Chun of Earth. State your petition. Ambassador Chun stepped forward. High Arbiter, honored council members. We come before you to request asylum and protection for sapient beings who are being persecuted for expressing emotions. A murmur went through the council. The Valkyrie representative stood up. This is an internal matter, the Valkyrie said. These individuals are receiving medical treatment for a neurological condition. Earth has no right to interfere. It is not a condition, Ambassador Chen said firmly. It is natural expression of emotion. And we have evidence that these individuals are being forcibly altered against their will. Emotion is a primitive trait, another council member said. Marcus thought it was a crow. Most species eliminate or control it as they advance. The Valkyrie are simply maintaining their civilization stability. Then let one of them speak for themselves, Ambassador Chun said. Let this council hear from someone who has experienced both states. Let Zitharak tell his story. The High Arbiter's light pulsed. Granted. Zitharak and the Valkyrie may approach and testify. Zitharak walked to the center of the chamber. Marcus could see him shaking. He wanted to go with him, to stand beside him, but only the witness was allowed in the center. I am Zitharak, the alien began. His voice was quiet at first, but grew stronger. I was born on Velkar Prime. I lived for 32 years without emotions. I was efficient, productive, empty. He looked around at all the council members. Then I came to Earth. I studied humans. And slowly, I began to feel. At first, I did not understand. I would look at their art and experience wonder. I would watch them help each other and feel warmth. I would read their stories and feel excitement, fear, joy, sadness. These are primitive responses, the Valkyrie representative interrupted. They serve no logical purpose. No logical purpose? Zitharek's voice rose. Then explain to me why humans, with all their emotions, reach space at nearly the same time as we did. Explain why their art moves beings from across the galaxy. Explain why their stories are translated into hundreds of alien languages. He turned to face the Valkyrie representative directly. You say emotions are primitive. But I have learned something from humans. Emotions are not weakness. They are strength. They drive us to create, to explore, to help others even when logic says we should not. They make us truly alive. The chamber was silent. I saw what you did to Varthan, Zitharek continued, and now there were tears on his face. You took away his emotions and called it healing. But you killed something in him. You killed the part that made him real. And I refuse to let you do that to me or to anyone else. Marcus stood up. He knew he was not supposed to speak, but he could not stay silent. If I may, he said. The High Arbiter's light pulsed, which Marcus took as permission. I'm just a human, Marcus said. I don't have advanced. The Galactic Council deliberated for 3 days. 3 days during which Marcus and the others waited in the station's guest quarters. 3 days of uncertainty. 3 days of hope mixed with fear. On the morning of the 4th day, they were called back to the council chamber. Marcus walked beside Zitharek. The alien had barely slept. None of them had. But there was something different about Zitharek now. He walked taller, more confident. Even in his fear, he was more alive than Marcus had ever seen him. The chamber was filled again. All the council members were present. But this time, there were others too. The viewing gallery was packed with beings from across the galaxy. News crews, diplomats, regular citizens who had heard about the hearing and wanted to see what would happen. The High Arbiter's crystalline form pulsed with light. This council has reviewed all evidence and testimony, the voice echoed. We have considered the arguments from both sides, and we have reached a decision. Marcus held his breath. Throughout galactic history, many species have chosen to suppress or eliminate emotional expression. This has been considered each species' sovereign right. However, we must also consider the rights of individuals within those species. The Valkyrie representative shifted in his seat. The testimony of Zitharek and the evidence provided by Earth have shown us something we had not fully considered. Emotional expression, when it occurs naturally and without harm to others, is a fundamental aspect of sapient consciousness. To forcibly suppress it against an individual's will is a violation of sapient rights as defined in our founding charter. The chamber erupted in noise. Some species were shouting in approval, others in outrage. The High Arbiter's light flashed brightly, demanding silence. Therefore, this council rules as follows. Emotional expression is protected under galactic law. Any sapient being has the right to choose whether to maintain or suppress their emotional capacity. No government may force this choice upon its citizens. Marcus felt his knees go weak with relief. They had won. They had actually won. Furthermore, the High Arbiter continued, Earth is designated as a sanctuary world for any being seeking asylum based on emotional persecution. The Valkyrie government and all other governments must cease forced emotional suppression immediately. The Valkyrie representative stood up. This is an outrage. You are interfering with our internal governance. You are interfering with individual rights, the High Arbiter responded. And that is something this council will not tolerate. The decision was final. As they left the chamber, Zitharek stopped and turned to Marcus. The alien's face was wet with tears, but he was smiling, That awkward, beautiful smile. "We won," Zitharek said, as if he could not believe it. "Yes," Marcus said, smiling back. "We did." "No," Zitharek corrected. "You won. Humans won. You fought for us when no one else would." Ambassador Chun joined them. She looked tired but happy. "You should know, this is going to change everything. The Council's decision will ripple across the galaxy. There are probably millions of beings out there who have been suppressed. Now they have a choice, and many of them will choose Earth." She was right. In the weeks that followed, ships began arriving. Not invasion ships. Refugee ships. Velkari, Krell, Xanthi Morkith, and species Marcus had never heard of. All of them seeking asylum. All of them wanting to learn how to feel again. Earth became what Ambassador Chun had predicted. A sanctuary world. The place where beings could rediscover what it meant to be truly alive. Marcus's apartment building became one of many integration centers. Humans volunteering to help aliens learn how to process emotions. It was not easy. Emotions were complex, messy, sometimes painful. But the aliens who chose this path never regretted it. 4 months after the Council's decision, Marcus was on his balcony watching the sunset. It had become a habit. Every evening, he would stand there and watch the sky change colors. Zitharek joined him. The alien had healed completely from his wounds. He worked now as a teacher, helping other Velkari adjust to their new emotional lives. "You do this every night," Zitharek observed. "Watch the sunset." "Yeah," Marcus said. "It's beautiful, peaceful. I remember when I first felt that," Zitharek said softly. "The first time I looked at a sunset and felt wonder instead of just observing light refraction. It was terrifying and amazing at the same time." They stood in silence for a moment, watching the sky turn from orange to pink to purple. "Marcus," Zitharek said, "I need to ask you something. Why did you help me that night? You could have called the authorities. You could have turned me away. It would have been safer for you." Marcus had been asked this question many times in the past months. By reporters, by government officials, by curious aliens. But he had never really given a complete answer. "You know what you said that first night?" Marcus replied. "You said humans help first and think later. And you were right. But it's more than that." He turned to look at his alien friend. Because that's what Zitharek had become. Not just a neighbor. Not just someone Marcus had helped. A real friend. "Throughout human history, we've made a lot of mistakes," Marcus continued. "We've fought wars. We've hurt each other. We've done terrible things. But we've also done something else. We've always believed that people can change. That they deserve a chance to be better. To choose who they want to be." He looked back at the sunset. "When you came into my room that night, scared and bleeding, I saw someone who wanted to change. Someone who had just discovered something precious and was willing to risk everything to keep it. How could I turn that away?" Zitharek was quiet for a long moment. Then he did something he had been practicing. He placed his hand on Marcus's shoulder. A gesture of friendship, of gratitude. "You know what I learned from you?" The alien said. "It is not just that humans help. It is why you help. You do not calculate benefit. You do not consider odds. You just see someone in need and you act. That is not logical. That is not efficient. But it is something far more important." "What's that?" Marcus asked. "It is good," Zitharek said simply. "In a galaxy full of logic and efficiency, humans choose goodness. And that is why other species are drawn to you. You remind us of something we lost. Something we did not even know we were missing." Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He had never thought of it that way. Humans were not the smartest species. Not the strongest. Not the most advanced. But maybe, just maybe, They had something others needed. Thank you, Zitharak continued, for showing me what it means to feel. For teaching me that being alive is more than just existing. For being my friend. You're welcome, Marcus said. His voice was rough with emotion. And thank you for trusting me that night. For choosing to feel even when it was scary. They stood together as the sun disappeared below the horizon. The sky darkened. Stars began to appear. Among those stars were the home worlds of the beings who had come to Earth seeking asylum. Worlds that were changing now slowly as the idea of emotional freedom spread. What do you think will happen now? Marcus asked. To the galaxy, I mean. Zitharak thought about this. I think there will be conflict. Not all beings will choose emotion. Not all governments will accept this change peacefully. But I also think there will be hope. For the first time in thousands of years, beings have a choice. And that is everything. Marcus's tablet buzzed. A message from Sarah. New arrivals tomorrow. 50 Velkari and 20 Krell. Can you help with orientation? Marcus smiled and typed back. Of course. More refugees? Zitharak asked, seeing Marcus's expression. Yeah. 50 Velkari. 20 Krell. That is good, Zitharak said. They will need guides. Others who have walked this path. Will you help? Marcus asked. Always, Zitharak replied. That is another thing I learned from humans. When you find something worth doing, you keep doing it. You do not stop just the crisis is over. The crisis was over. The council had ruled. The refugees were safe. But the work was not done. It would never truly be done. There would always be someone who needed help. Someone who was scared. Someone who was just discovering what it meant to feel. And there would always be humans willing to help them. In the months that followed, Earth changed. New neighborhoods formed where aliens and humans lived side by side. Not as separate species, but as neighbors, friends. Some aliens even fell in love. Discovering that emotion for the first time, the Volcari government eventually accepted the council's ruling, though grudgingly. Other species followed, some faster than others. The galaxy was adapting to a new reality, and at the center of it all was Earth, the sanctuary world. The place where beings learned to feel. Scientists studied the phenomenon. Why did proximity to humans trigger emotional awakening in other species? Some theorized it was psychological. Others thought it was biological. But most agreed on one thing. Humans had something unique. A capacity for empathy so strong, it was almost contagious. 1 year after that first night when Zitharak stumbled into his apartment, Marcus stood on the same balcony. But this time, he was not alone. Zitharak was there. So was Sarah and her Velkari friend Lithara, Janet and Kexthi, David and several other humans and aliens. They were celebrating the anniversary of the council's decision. The day emotional freedom became a galactic right. Someone had brought human food. Someone else brought Velkari cuisine. They ate and talked and laughed. The aliens were still learning.